There is a voice in the world that does not shout, but shakes mountains. A voice that rose from the quiet valleys of Pakistan and echoed across the globe. That voice belongs to Malala Yousafzai. She did not seek the spotlight. She did not chase fame. She simply wanted to learn, to read, to write, to speak. And in doing so, she became a symbol of what it means to be brave, not in the absence of fear, but in the presence of it. Malala's story begins in a land where the mountains touched the sky and where the silence of oppression once loomed over the songs of freedom. Swat Valley, her home, is breathtaking. But behind the beauty, there was a darkness growing. Girls were being told to stay home. Schools were being shut down. The sound of gunfire was becoming more familiar than the laughter of children. But in the face of this storm, Malala stood tall, not with weapons, but with words, not with anger, but with courage. She began writing under a pseudonym, sharing her thoughts, her fears, and her unshaken belief that every girl deserves an education. She wrote truth into a world drowning in silence, and then the world tried to silence her. On October 9th, 2012, they tried to end her story. A bullet, a bus, a young girl fighting for her life. But what they did not understand is that you cannot kill an idea. You cannot silence truth. Malala survived, not just physically, but spiritually. She became a flame that could not be extinguished. In the hospital, as she lay recovering, the world was waking up. Her name was now a banner of hope, her voice carried by millions. She stood before the United Nations at just 16, not with bitterness, but with grace. She did not ask for revenge, she asked for books. She did not seek power, she sought justice. She said, "One child, one teacher, one book, one pen can change the world." And we believed her, because we saw in her not just a survivor, but a leader. Malala reminded us all that education is not a privilege, it is a right. And to deny a child that right is to deny them their future. Every word she speaks is a defiance against those who believe ignorance is power. Every step she takes is a reminder that change is possible. She did not just survive a gunshot, she rewrote the story of what it means to be unbreakable. But Malala is not just a symbol. She is a young woman with dreams, with fears, with a heart that beats for justice. She laughs, she cries, she studies, she leads, and still she fights, not with anger, not with hatred, but with relentless hope. Hope that one day no girl will ever have to choose between safety and education. Hope that one day schools will be sanctuaries, not battlegrounds. Hope that one day every voice will be heard, not silenced. And in her voice, we find our own. In Malala, we are reminded that age does not determine courage, that even the smallest light can shine through the darkest nights, and that sometimes the most powerful revolution begins not with an army, but with a schoolgirl and her pen. So, let us not forget what she stands for. Let us carry her torch, speak her truth, and fight her fight. Because her journey is not hers alone, it is ours too. When the world tells us to sit down, Malala shows us how to stand up. When they say it's too dangerous, she reminds us why it's worth it. When fear knocks, she answers with faith. This is not just her story, it is a mirror for all of us. What are we doing with our voice? What are we fighting for? What future are we building for the next generation? The world is watching. And more importantly, the world is listening. So let us speak, not with noise, but with purpose. Let us lead, not with power, but with principle. Let us rise not just for ourselves, but for every Malala still waiting to be heard. Let Malala's courage ignite ours. Let her resilience become our revolution. And let her story remind us that the fight for education, justice, and dignity is far from over, but it is a fight worth every breath. She dared to dream in a place where dreams were forbidden, and now she dares us to do the same. Dare to believe, dare to speak, dare to change the world. Because when one girl stands up, she carries generations with her. And when that girl is Malala, the world listens. They say a bullet tried to silence her, but that bullet only made her louder. She took pain and turned it into purpose. She took scars and turned them into symbols. She took fear and turned it into fire. Fire that burns away ignorance. Fire that lights the way forward. Fire that fuels a global movement for change. Every time you see a child walk into school safely, know that Malala's voice helped build that path. Every time a girl opens a book with confidence, remember she fought for that freedom. And every time you doubt that one voice can matter, listen again to hers. She is not just a Nobel Peace Prize laureate. She is not just a survivor. She is a teacher, a guide, a force. The world needs more Malalas, not to be her, but to follow the light she's lit. She has done her part. Now, we must do ours. Find your voice. Use it. Stand for something. Speak for someone. Because silence serves no one. Because the world does not change with comfort. It changes with courage. And no one has shown us that more clearly than Malala Yousafzai. So when the day feels dark, when the fight seems long, when the mountain looks too high, remember her story, remember her strength, remember that even a whisper can become a roar when it's spoken from the heart. Let us carry this message forward, not just in words, but in action. Let us teach with compassion. Let us lead with love. Let us learn with urgency. And let us promise, every single one of us, that we will not let her fight be in vain. Malala's voice is no longer alone. It is a chorus. And you, yes, you are part of that song. Sing it loud. Sing it brave. Sing it true. Because somewhere, a young girl is still afraid to learn. And she is waiting for your voice to help her believe that she matters too. Let us be the answer to that hope. Let us be the ones who dare. Let us be the reason the future shines brighter than the past. And so, as her voice continues to echo through classrooms, protests, and quiet hearts across the world, let us not forget what it truly means to be brave. Malala Yousafzai did not seek the spotlight. She simply refused to let it go dark for others. Her courage is a mirror asking each of us, what will you do with your voice? Stand tall, speak gently, but never be silent. Because the world changes, not when the loudest shout, but when the bravest whisper. If this story moved you, inspired you, or reminded you of your own quiet strength, subscribe to this channel. There are more voices to honor, more hearts to heal, and more hope to share. Let's keep going together.